Hey guys, I don't know quite how to begin this video, but one thing that became very obvious to me, and it took a long time, is that it has been said before. It's been said before many, many times, is that the narcissist is an addict for attention, affirmation, um, sex, you name it, anything that makes them feel like they're wanted or good. They are an addict for that. Um, Now, that doesn't tell you much, does it? No, it doesn't. Think about it this way. They are literally a slave to getting attention. So, in an everyday situation, let's say I'm a narcissist and, you know, not many people are paying attention to me that day. I'm going to reach out and try to get some attention. Or if attention just happens to come my way, some individual says hi, then I'm going to go for it full throttle. It's almost like if you, let's just say, a heroin addict, and you know you haven't used in a while, and you're either going to try to get it really hard, or if it comes your way, you're damn sure going to fucking take it. Point being to this is that, and this does not dismiss narcissistic behavior. I'm not saying forgive them. I'm not saying feel sorry for them. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying understand it. They are a slave to that mentality. If they don't have it, they can do everything in the world to find it. If they run across it, they're damn sure gonna fucking take it. It doesn't matter from who, doesn't matter how, but if it's there, it will be used. And this is the thing that it took me a long time to understand, as being on the victim side of this and being on the other side. I was, for the longest time, I just couldn't understand. I was like, why is this narcissist keep going to other men, keep going to other men? Um, and it had it had nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. It's just that other men were like, hey, here's some heroin. And she's like, fuck yes, give it to me. Like the fucking Cookie Monster, right? And whereas towards the end of it, when I realized I was being abused and taken advantage of, I was like, no, no more heroin for you. I'm gonna save my heroin for myself, right? So it had nothing to do with me at all. It has nothing to do with you at all, other than the fact that maybe you weren't giving them enough heroin. You know what I mean? And it really, when I started to think along those lines, and it's true, and it's been like classical knowledge for a long time with narcissistic individuals, cluster Bs, borderlines, you name it. Um, it brought up an interesting fact in that every time I tried to like rectify the relationship and be like, hey, this is not working, my needs aren't getting met, your needs aren't getting met. And every time I'd be like, what are your needs? Like, if you could just tell me what your needs are, maybe this could stand some kind of chance. And it was always like, you don't come see me on my lunch break, and you don't respond to my text messages fast enough, and stuff like that. And it all boiled down to is you're not giving me enough attention. Um, and as we all know, they're insatiable. They're black holes for attention. So that would never ever be possible. But the thing of the matter is, and what kind of struck me as weird is in those moments where she would tell me, like, she it almost was like the only one of the she's told me very, very few, like, bluntly honest, just truthful things. And that was kind of one of the truthful things, is that she in her brain, yes, I think, wanted to make the relationship work, but she was such a slave to it, to attention, that that's all she could think of, is like, in her brain she's going, how can I make this relationship work? Okay, if he gives me more attention, this will work. If he endlessly gives me attention, this will work. So I don't think it was out of malice. Sometimes it probably was, but um, in those times I don't think it was out of malice. It was just, she literally was like, hey, if you want to save this relationship, you have to feed me attention constantly. And that's really what she thought would actually save the relationship. You know what I mean? Um, so in a way, I mean, that's so ignorant and stupid. But at the same time, I almost feel slightly bad because, you know, she actually believed that. She actually believed that. She thought that a relationship could survive, just off because that's what her need was. She didn't think about, the she didn't even begin to understand that other people have needs, or your partner giving you constant attention is not the basis of a healthy relationship. It, she had no concept of what a healthier relationship was. And moreover to that, I don't. Sometimes, so I think she felt guilt for getting attention from her men. I think she did sometimes. Sometimes, um, not guilt in the sense of I hurt you, but guilt in the sense of she's so dependent on it that she almost literally cannot help herself. Like if it's there, she has to take it. Type of, it wasn't, it wasn't designed necessarily. I don't think it was designed most of the time. I'm not saying all the time, most of the time. I don't think it was necessarily designed to hurt me. I just think that she was so addicted to this and so like had to fucking have it that it just, if it was there, she took it. Um, we could be like doing really, really, really well in the relationship at times. Um, and she'd go to the gas station and some guy would give her just a bit of attention, and she couldn't deny it. She could not say no. It was just every fucking take that little bit of attention every fucking time. I mean, seriously, like a very hardcore addict. But it's doing something weird again. Oh, there she is. Um, but it took me a long time to realize that. I mean, a long time to realize that it had nothing to do with me, other than the fact that I wasn't providing enough, which, as we all know, is actually impossible to provide enough to a narcissist. Bookcat, can you stop, please? Psst, hey. Um, and then once I realized that it had nothing to do with me, it's impossible to fulfill their needs, and then I started to realize that almost it didn't, it was not under her control. If she went out to the bar and some guy started hitting on her, she had, just by her needs and the way that she sees everything and the fact that she's an addict to this shit, she had to respond to it. She had to respond to it. Because if she didn't have enough. She didn't have enough. You never have enough. Take one hit, get another hit, get another hit, get another hit. You know what I mean? I could give her 1,000 hits a day, and if some other guy on the street corner had one more hit, she's gonna fucking take it. Whether it's a crackhead or somebody she doesn't even know. It's a hit of that fucking drug. She has to fucking have it all the time. Now, what I'd be really, 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 really interested in is testing that in some kind of clinical setting and stuff. But obviously, I don't have the capability to do that at this point. But man, that would be really interesting stuff. Just to see how far will they go. How desperate are they for this? Like, can they deny it? Are they so addicted that if it's there, they have to take it. Interesting. But then at the same time, it's terribly sad because they're a slave to this. They are an absolute and utter slave to this attention. Um, so much so that their whole life revolves around it. You know, I can't imagine living a day in the life of a narcissist. Man, I don't know what I would do, but it would be an absolutely miserable and awful experience. Because you have to feel victimized at some point, you know. You're just out and about, and somebody says, "Hey, here's your attention, here's your heroin," and you respond to it, and you got to go home that night and be going, "Man, I just fucking hooked up with this guy just because he showed me attention." I don't know if they ever think that far, but I think there has to be a certain level of them going, or a certain level of them feeling really bad about themselves because it's uncontrollable. Um, and to correlate that to the same level that we're at right now, which I know this is a little bit dark, but so imagine you're, again, addicted to heroin. You don't have any, or you can't find any, and then, you got some guy that's like, "Hey, you can suck my dick, I'll give you a hit." If you're that addicted to heroin, you'll suck his dick to get the hit, right? And it's almost the same situation. Now imagine if you were addicted to heroin, you sucked this guy's dick, you got your hit. At the time it felt good. The next day, what do you feel like when you wake up? You go, "Oh my fucking God, I can't believe I just sucked some dick for heroin." You have to at some point feel bad about it and know that it's out of control. Know that it's something seriously wrong, and kind of you have to hit that point where you're wondering, why did I suck a guy's dick last night? So, like I said, it's known knowledge. Specifically, Sam Vaknin knows this for sure, and has discussed this at length. But once you really kind of get into it, it is interesting. They're a slave to their needs. They're a slave to their behavior. Um, and on top of that, they're insatiable, and you can never provide them with enough. Which further proves that an actual relationship, a healthy relationship with a narcissistic or borderline or cluster B, whatever they are, is literally impossible.